Hey, welcome back to the greatest chess moments of all times by Mynnnat.com. And today, chapter 139, Cunning Tactics. Okay, while we fast forward 23 moves, let me just say that this is a game from the Women's World Championship in lovely Antakya, Turkey in 2010 between Elisabeth Paehtz from Germany in white and Jolanta Zawadzka from Poland in black. Alright, so at first glance the game looks more or less balanced, isn't it? But look closer, white can win an important piece. Can you find how? Pause the video to think. Well, the white move is rook to d7. Boom. Let's analyze why. So black can't just capture rook in d7, right? As this would be mate in 1. Also, white threatens mate in 2 moves with queen to f7. And finally, black bishop will fall since it has no time to move. Really creative and cunning, isn't it? Surprisingly, black didn't surrender. She analyzed her rather poor options and decided not to exchange her bishop for g2 pawn, as she can gain 2 pawns later in the game, as follows. Rook to f8, defending from the threat of the queen and letting the bishop go. White rook takes bishop as expected. Now black rook to d2, counter-attacking to threaten white's bishop and the pawn on f2, which could be risky for white's king. White can't defend f2, so bishop moves to d1, and as expected, black rook takes f2. White now has to put a block between black's queen and rook, so bishop moves to f3. And now black rook can collect the second pawn. Rook takes a2. So black has indeed exchanged her bishop with 2 pawns. But is the game back in the balance? Not really. Can you see black's weakest point? That's right, it's e6. But how should white attack? What do you think? Well, white rook moves to e7, and black can't really defend the e6 square. Accepting the inevitable fall of e6, black moves her rook to c2, preparing to check white's king, while the queen is guarding the rook. Now, as white, with which rook would you capture e6? Remember a basic chess principle. Rook on the 7th rank is a great weapon. Here, it's creating pressure and doesn't allow either the black rook to move from f8, nor the black pawn to move to g7 to block white's queen. So keep this principle in mind. White therefore takes e6 with the other rook, and since both rooks are now connected, she doesn't bother with rook to c1 check, and simply goes back, rook to e1. Now, black is down on pieces, and king is in the open for a check by white's bishop, right? So king moves to h8. She figures there is no danger in rook to e8, as she can always take rook on e1 and exchange rooks, right? Haha, wrong, very wrong. Can you see white's winning move now? Pause the video and think. Well, white doesn't move her rook to e8. Instead, she moves queen to e8. Yes. Black rook can't take the queen, right? As there are too many white's rook on e-file and black king has no escape. So black must go back to protect her rook, followed by check by bishop, and black resigns. Beautiful, right? Elisabeth Paehtz, born 1985, is a German woman grandmaster. She is a daughter to a German grandmaster and married to an Italian grandmaster. That's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this short episode by Mynnnat.com, Creativity Through Chess. The full game, as always, can be found below the YouTube video. If you like to get notified on the next episodes, like us on Facebook and visit our site. Also, go check our Amazon store for our unique chess sets. Major discount coupons available on our site.